2020 presidential election coverage starts now. Now here you can see the states that they forecast to go to various candidates or various parties, and you can see that they give the Democrats some of these key states: Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and the entire Rust Belt. Minnesota's not really the Rust Belt, but Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and the entirety of the Northeast Coast and the West Coast. And the Republicans then are sitting with sort of a snaking path through the center of the country, and as well as South Carolina. Obviously, with the toss-up states, Iowa, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and Texas, they've left them as toss-up states. Here they're giving Iowa to Donald Trump. Here they're giving Ohio to Donald Trump with a plus 0.0% lead. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are at 50-50 exactly. It's kind of an interesting case. But obviously they forecast, I guess, a few more votes going Donald Trump's way in Ohio. And in North Carolina, they have Joe Biden up, which is this has been their line this entire time. But I would say that this is a bit iffy. This is a bit of an iffy judgment there. Georgia, they have going to Joe Biden with a plus 0.4% lead. And Florida, bizarrely, they have going to Joe Biden with plus 1.1% lead. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is that Florida was also forecast for Hillary Clinton. But the Latino vote in Florida ended up shifting to Donald Trump, and that's why Donald Trump won Florida. And he won it by a sort of a finger's breadth. But the Latino vote this time around in 2020, which is sort of not the same pattern that across the board we're seeing the Democrats stronger in 2020 than they were in 2016. But Latinos in specific, and specifically the Latinos in Florida, are actually more strongly in favor of Donald Trump than they were in 2016. So given that Florida went to Trump in 2016, we can go to the 2016 electoral map. There it is, with Clinton at 232 electoral college votes against Trump at 306. You can see Florida went to Trump. We can surmise that, and it was because of the Latino voters that Florida is probably going to go to Trump, I think, in 2020. They have Texas as well going to Joe Biden with a plus 0.1% lead. They have Hawaii obviously going to Joe Biden, and they have Alaska going to Donald Trump. Nebraska is second. They have it sort of tipped for Joe Biden, but stated as sort of an, I think purple means that there's some, Nebraska's second district, they count differently and things like that. And Maine's second district is well purple, but in favor of Joe Biden at plus 1.4%. So Biden is winning that entire northeast coast as well as the entire west coast, and what I call here the shield, as well as the entire Rust Belt in the Our Progress forecast. Popular vote share. Biden sitting currently at an expected, in this forecast, 73 million votes against Donald Trump's roughly 63 million votes, so about 10 million votes more. Joe Biden is sitting with 52% of the popular vote against Donald Trump's 44.7% of the popular vote, and undecideds are sitting at 4.5 million votes. Electoral votes, if you have toss-up states, i.e. You don't assign the toss-up states, is what I believe that means, then the Democrats are sitting at 289 electoral college votes against the Republicans' 125. You need 270 to win. So even without these toss-up votes counted, the Democrats are already over the line in terms of winning the presidency in 2020. But once you remove the toss-ups and you allocate them, that this model then shows the Democrats increasing their electoral college vote to 389, which is a blowout, far above the 270 threshold that you need, and Republicans moving from 125 electoral college votes to 149 electoral college votes. Then they have some interesting graphs down here. Here's how the race changed over time, and the odds of winning, and you can see that Biden started with about 69% against Trump's 30% odds of winning. That means, if you run 100 races, Biden wins 69 times, Trump wins 30 times. As Bernie Sanders dropped out of the primary and Joe Biden became the presumptive nominee, Biden's odds only continued to climb fairly steadily, and then sort of in July there was a bit of a bump. Joe Biden's odds went from about 77.5 to 81.1 against Trump's, dropping from about 21.78 to 18.87. By the time Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris as a running mate, Biden's odds were sitting at 83.8% against Trump's odds of 16.2%, and Biden's odds have only continued to climb, and Trump's odds in this forecast have only continued to drop. Currently, Biden's sitting with odds of 86.5% against Trump's odds of 13.5%. These are not betting odds; these are the model's odds. So take that as you may. Here's the vote percentage that they're expected to gain. The story is very similar. I guess Joe Biden started out expected to win about 50.79% of the vote against Donald Trump's 45.75% of the vote. And then Joe Biden was at 51.21% of the vote against Donald Trump's 45.25% of the vote when Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race and Joe Biden became presumptive nominee. And then Joe Biden's percent vote continued to climb to 51.66% against Donald Trump's 44.85%. And Joe Biden's now sitting with about 52.02% of the vote against Donald Trump's 44.74% of the vote. Then we have the electoral vote distribution. So you can see Joe Biden, after you remove the toss-up states, getting 389 electoral college votes against Trump's 149 electoral college votes. And the size of the bubble tells you how much, I suppose, how many electoral college votes go to the candidate who wins. And the color of the bubble tells you who they expect to win. So Joe Biden is winning some major states: California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois are sort of his big vote banks, as well as sort of Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, and New Jersey. I don't know, New Jersey's in there. So you know that's where his big vote banks are coming from. Donald Trump, with much fewer electoral college votes at 149, his big vote bank is Ohio, where he's only slightly favored, as well as other smaller ones such as Tennessee, Indiana, Missouri, etc. So, and then here's the third-party vote distribution. You can see sort of Utah has a huge number of third-party votes, about 10% of the entire country's third-party votes, etc. These sort of Midwestern states have the fewest third-party votes. West Coast and East Coast have the largest number of third-party votes. And then in terms of breaking down the popular vote, these are the actual votes, like imagine ballots coming in, and the number of them that go to each candidate. So here's Donald Trump's ballots, and here's Biden's ballots, and you can see that they forecast Donald Trump getting about 4.383, so 4.4 million votes out of California. And then Texas gives him another 4.7 million votes, and Florida gives him 4.9 million votes, etc. In the Biden case, California gives him 9.3 million votes, not 4.3. If you might be asking, well, why does California give twice? Because it's the votes. So you see, even if you lose the election, the popular vote is still counted in a popular vote tally. So Trump did receive votes in California. Biden received more at 9.3 million. He gets 5 million votes out of Florida. Ohio gets him 2.7 million votes. Texas gets him 4.6 million votes. New York gets him 4.7 million votes. And Illinois gets him 3.2 million votes, etc. So that's the Our Progress forecast, and hopefully you enjoyed that. There's the map. And tell me what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to hit like, follow, or subscribe. Thanks for watching.